Hi guys, welcome back to Symbolic Logic Part 18. So far, we have seen about truth table and we have solved many problems using truth table. Today, we are going to see about specific forms. So, in symbolic logic, we are going to study about three specific forms. Number one is tautology statement, number two is contradictory statement, and then number three is contingent statements. Now, let's study what are these tautology statements about. So, the structure of tautology statement is such that they will always be true, no matter what the truth value is given to the variables employed in it. Let's take a look at an example of a tautology statement to get a better understanding. So, if you take the first statement, it was a free gift that cost nothing at all. The term free gift and it costs nothing at all gives the same meaning, right? In the same way, the second statement, she always arrived on time and punctual. On time and punctual, these both keywords almost gives the same meaning. If you take a look at the third statement, the weather was hot and it was scorching. Hot and scorching gives the same meaning. If you take a look at the fourth statement, the meal was so delicious, it was mouth watering. So delicious and mouth watering gives the same meaning. If you take a look at the fifth statement, she was so exhausted she couldn't move a muscle. So exhausted and she couldn't move a muscle gives the same meaning. So these types of sentences or statements which gives the same meaning twice comes under the category of tautology statement. So now let's move on to the second specific form which we call it as contradictory statements. We also call it as contradiction. So the structure of contradictory statement is such a way that they will always be false, no matter what truth value is given to the variables employed in it. Let's take a look at an example of this. So, if you take a first statement, nobody goes to the restaurant, it is too crowded. If the restaurant is too crowded, then it is not true that nobody goes there, right? So, this type of contradictory statement is used for emphasis. The restaurant is very crowded, so the speaker does not like to go there. In English, we call it as a paradox. A paradox is a statement that seems to say two opposite things but may be true. So, a paradox contradicts itself. A paradox can also be a situation that is made up of two opposite things that seems impossible but it is actually possible. We also use paradox to challenge our mind to make you think about something in a new way. They can also be used for humor. So, think about the next sentence. I am a compulsive liar. If the speaker is a liar, then the statement cannot be true, right? But if the statement isn't true, then is the speaker really a compulsive liar? So, this statement is a paradox. If the statement is true, then it is not true. If the another example is you can save money by spending it. You can this seems strange, right? If you spend money, then you are not gonna save money. But it may be true if you spend money to insulate your house, then you will save money on cooling and heating bills. If you spend money to buy a better automobile, then you will save money on repairs. So, in these type of statement, the speaker is going to speak positive, then he says something negative. If you take a look at the another thing, I am going another statement, I mean fourth one, I am going to start thinking positive. The speaker is going to speak positive, then he says something negative. So if you take the last statement, I know one thing that I know nothing. So this is also the same way. He is telling the positive thing first and the negative thing at the last. So these types of statements comes under contradictory statements. We can create more examples with these contradictory statements, like this is the beginning of the end, or these are the rules, ignore all the rules, or the statements like less is more, or someday you will be old enough to young again. You heard all these statements, right? We need to go backwards to go forwards. Deep down, you are really shallow. If you are not here, raise your hand. How can you raise your hand if you are not here? The another example is like, let me say it again, I never repeat myself. So these types of statements comes under the category of contradictory statement. So now let's take a look at the next specific form, which is contingent statements. So the structure of contingent statement is such that they may be true or false depending on what the truth value is given to the variables employed in it. If you take an example of this contingent statement, if you have a cat, you won't have mice. This is true, right? It may be true or may not be true. A cat may eat the mice or the cat may not eat the mice. So what he is telling in contingent statement is the contingent statement may be true or false depending upon the situation. The cat might eat the mice, so there won't be a mice, or else the cat is not going to catch the mice. So we have seen about all the three types of specific forms in today's lecture.